Welcome to Identified, Unidentified, a safe space for us to have intelligent discourse about the unusual and the unexplained. You can bring your ideas here and you'll be welcomed in. All right, so let's set the scene. It's about 1996, 97-ish, somewhere in there. And I was at home alone. My best friend, his grandparents lived across the street from me. And it was about 8:30 at night. He calls me outside, nothing unusual. So I go out, we're kicking it, and for some reason I just decided to look over, and in the sky I saw an object, a huge object, that was just sitting perfectly still. I mean, perfectly still, not hovering, floating up and down, like you see like a helicopter or something like that. A drone, perfectly still, like a picture. And I pointed at it and I said, "Man, do you see that?" He turns around, he looks, we both lock eyes with it, and then it goes boom, 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 gone forever. So we look at each other and we said, "Man, we can't tell anybody about this, right? We can't tell anybody because they're going to think either A, we're crazy, or B, we're high." Because back in those days, let's keep it real, like a little marijuana when you're a teenager happens with everybody. Fast forward again. Now it's like 98. I met a birthday party, or a birthday dinner for my father. And unprovoked, he begins to tell a story where he saw almost the exact same thing. He almost described the exact same thing. And I had never, ever talked to him about my experience. Fast forward again. Here we are, 2021. And on June 25th, the Pentagon has to provide a report to Congress detailing UAPs, which is unidentified aerial phenomena. They don't want to call it UFOs, even though it's the same exact thing, but they want to make it sound fancy, and they don't want to sound crazy, because let's keep it real, some of y'all are crazy with this whole anal probe thing, broke back Space Mountain. But you should be able to say that you've seen a UFO or say that you've seen a UAP without there being like this attack on you, where people are saying that you're crazy. But this stigma has been created, centered around the use of these terminologies and the belief in extraterrestrial life, period. Right? If you say you believe in extraterrestrial life, you are automatically deemed as a lunatic, even if you saw it, right? But you can say you believe in angels and gods and things like that you've never seen before a day in your life, and that is accepted as the norm. Now, I tell you who I blame, for this stigma. And when I say blame, I don't really mean like I'm pointing the finger at them and they should be held accountable. What I'm saying is they are partly responsible for the perspective or perception on people who say that they've seen UAPs or whatever. Okay, so this is Hollywood we're talking about, Hollyweird, because look at the way aliens are depicted in movies. Now, let's take a look at movies that are based on actual events, or movies that are like a biography of a person. When it comes on, the first thing you see on the screen is based on true events or based on a true story, right? Because they have to use that caveat. Why? Even though it's something that really happened or it's a person that really existed, why do they have to do that? Because their job is to produce things that are entertaining, to make money. So even if something that happened for real, they have to get creative and create a better story, right? So that you actually want to watch these movies and so on and so forth. And so the same thing is done when they make movies about aliens. Think about the movies that are about extraterrestrial life. You got E.T., you got Independence Day, you got aliens, right? And the way that these aliens are depicted as, weird looking, misshapen, acid blood coming out, and tentacles and things of that nature. And don't forget the fact that they always want to kill us. That's always the go-to, is that the aliens want to destroy our entire planet and way of living. So then when a person in real life says, hey, I saw a UAP or I saw a UFO, they're automatically looked at as loony, right? So here's the question. All right. And I'm not asking this to myself because I know the answer. Is there alien life? Of course there is. Of course there is. The universe, it may not be infinite. Before they say the universe was infinite, now they're saying it has an end, whatever, right? Either way, it's still so large. There's different solar systems and different galaxies that we cannot see because we don't have the technology to see. We cannot visit because we don't have the technology to visit these places. So it is just odd that someone would believe in this entire universe that the people here on Earth are so special that we're the only ones that exist. I mean, come on, you gotta tighten up. How is it that we are that special that we are the only ones that exist in the entire universe? Now, if you say, I believe that there's life out there, but I don't believe that life or those life forms are intelligent enough to reach us, I would accept that. But for you to say that you don't believe that there's any other life out in the universe except us, it's just crazy. Lunacy. I'm not the one that's crazy. You're the one that's crazy, right? That's pretty vain as well. So like I said, there shouldn't be this stigma on saying that you do believe in alien life, but there is. However, now we have official government documentation coming out about UAPs. Now, they're not saying that it is aliens, and they're not saying it's not aliens. So that leaves the door open. But what they're seeing is inexplicable. And this is coming from credible sources. Okay, these are pilots in the Navy, Air Force, and did I mention that this is all recorded as well, from cockpit cameras. So it's not like this is some story that's fabricated and is one person's word against the other. No, this stuff is recorded. There was a task force that was put together to investigate UAPs. Now, if people didn't think that it was serious, okay, there would be no task force. There would be no task force. They're not going to put money into researching these things just for sugar, honey, iced teas and giggles. You know what I mean. Now, you have some of these senators that are fully behind this, but only because they want to know if these UAPs are foreign adversaries. They think it's China. You think that their technology is that advanced? Because if you go and watch these videos, or if you look at, conversations with the people who witness these things firsthand, they're saying they can't explain the way that these, I don't know if you want to call them spaceships. I guess we cannot officially call it that at this point, but that this aerial craft can move in the sky. And the way they maneuver cannot be duplicated by the technology that we have. And so basically we're saying that these other countries are so much further advanced than America, okay, that they can produce aerial, spaceship-like products that can do things that we can't even wrap our brains around. Now they're saying that we've had plans to create certain things, and we know, I guess, through data that's coming from, or intel that's coming from spies and things of that nature, that some of these countries are working on technology. But I mean, come on, let's be real here. People will go to the furthest lengths just to prevent from saying, hey, it's possible that we were visited by some other type of life form. Now, what do I think is going to come out of this report on June 25th? A handful of sugar honey iced tea. That's what's going to come out of it. I have no faith that the Pentagon is going to provide any real data or any real intel on the UAPs. We've known about Area 51 for how many years? We've known about its existence, but we've no idea what is actually in there and what takes place there. And the government doesn't want to reveal that there's UAPs or that there's alien life out there, and there's always this cliche that the reason why they don't want to tell us is because they're scared of how we might react. What are we gonna do? Where are we gonna go? Like, they think if they say, oh, there's alien life out there, that people are just gonna run out into the street, looting, burning, flipping cars over. It's gonna be like madness and the end of the world. Like, no. People will accept it and then go to work the next day, clock in, because there's nothing else you can do. I mean, what are you gonna do? You know? So I'm not certain to what end this whole testimony to Congress will bring about. But the only one goal or hope that I have is that there is some type of honesty and transparency to remove the stigma in the belief in unidentified aerial phenomena, unidentified flying objects, and the belief that there is life outside of this particular solar system. Come back, we're going to delve even further into this subject and why exactly some of this information is being held back and what it all means. Now, you tell me down in the comments, if you've ever witnessed any unidentified aerial phenomena, any UFOs, if you've seen anything like that, if you believe it, if you don't believe in it. Let's get the conversation going, and we'll be back on the next go around. Peace.